that reading. And good evening, everyone. As Cameron said, my name is Jitesh, one of the leadership team here at HL Church, and it's a great joy of mine to share a few words about Christmas tonight, why we're here gathered celebrating it, and why we will be celebrating it over the next few weeks. Before I begin, actually, I just want to say a huge thank you to the band and to the support team. They've just and they've really blessed us in our celebrations, and I know there's a bit more to come. And I'm looking around, I'm just amazed at how visually stunning everything is, and a lot of hard work's gone into that as well. Doesn't this place look amazing? It really helps us celebrate the joy of Christmas. And of course, Christmas is a really multi-sensory experience, from the beautiful carols that we've been hearing and singing to the amazing smelling food that is for our nose and for our bellies. But I think the visual experience of Christmas is one of my favorite. We just put up the decorations in my own house yesterday, seeing things that you don't normally see for the rest of the year that make this season really special and important. And tonight, really briefly, I want to share with you three visual images, three pictures, well known to all of us from Christmas. Christmas in three pictures to help us understand and to rejoice in all that we're celebrating tonight. And the first one is this, a picture of a star and the stars. Now, stars, of course, are all around us at Christmas and also throughout the year. But one of the most beautiful things about this particular time of year that Christmas is celebrated in are those dark, clear winter nights. And I wonder if you know them, where even in a street lamp-drenched city like Leicester, you can look up and be amazed at the starry host. As a child, interestingly, I was so amazed at the stars growing up that at one point I wanted to be a professional astronomer, a bit like probably the wise men in our reading were, actually. I even took a GCSE in astronomy, but you didn't know you could do that. The stars, of course, at Christmas that we're most familiar with, perhaps, are the ones on the top of Christmas trees. In fact, Cameron and I helped put these ones up on these trees a couple of weeks ago. And the star on top of a Christmas tree represents that Christmas star which guided the wise men, the Magi, to Jesus' birth that very first Christmas. A star that speaks of God's guidance, that he lovingly wanted to show them something special and guides them to it by a star. And a star that speaks the same to us, of a God who loves us and wants to guide us in life with the best guidance we could ever receive. Now, we don't entirely know where the wise men were from. Many have assumed that they came from Arabia, about 1,000 or so miles away from Bethlehem. But actually, there's a growing consensus that they probably came from much, much further away, perhaps even as far as China, 10,000 miles away. And they may have traveled on horseback and camelback for years over rough terrain, through winter blizzards, scorching deserts, following this star, guiding them to Bethlehem. And the question is, what could possibly have made such a trip worth it? Who is this person that they were led by this star to worship? Who? Christmas, one of the most important questions we can ever ask is the same. Who is this Jesus? What is so special about him? What is it about him that's causing all of this celebration around us? Who could he possibly be to make all of this worth it? And finding the answer to that question, let me suggest, can change everything. The second image I want to highlight for us is, of course, of Christmas presents, Christmas gifts. And I wonder what emotions Christmas presents evoke in you. Perhaps right now it's an emotion of stress, trying to find all the right presents at the right price over the next few weeks, especially now that Black Friday week is over. Oh no. Or maybe it's joy. Actually, you're looking forward to the giving of presents and the receiving of presents soon. It's really interesting that lots of the big Christmas adverts on TV this year have been about this in particular. My favourite is the Waitrose one, the rather improbable love story of the ordinary looking over-bearded widower Phil, who meets and then woos Kiera Knightley. Anyone seen this? And they fall in love with each other, and he has to find the perfect present, the perfect Christmas present for her. I love it because of how absurdly unlikely it is, bringing false hope to men everywhere with a twinkle in his eye. You may have another favourite. We give gifts at Christmas to reflect those wise men, in fact, that we've just been talking about, who, when led to Jesus by the star, gave to him and his family gifts that first Christmas. As we just heard, gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And we know that in ancient tradition, you gave gifts in response to gifts being given, which is often true today. And that's why it's always that slightly awkward moment when a friend gives you a Christmas present and you weren't going to give them one. Or was that just me? Therefore, for the wise men to give gifts to Jesus and his family, when actually they had nothing to give in return, really, meant that the wise men had recognized that in Jesus' coming, they'd been given a gift. And they were giving gifts in response to that gift. They recognized that Jesus was a gift to them, and their gifts are in response. Many of you who are football fans will know the saying that brilliant player is God's gift to football. It's been said from Maradona through to Messi. And what the wise men do is they recognize that Jesus is God's gift to them. And he's God's gift to us as well. Jesus is God's gift of hope to us. The hope of God stepping into our lives and changing them, turning things around, setting right, wrong, wonky, straight, and transforming us from the inside out. Jesus is God's gift of life to us, that we might know the life we've always meant to have, God with us and in us, going before us and never leaving us. And ultimately, Jesus is God's gift of God himself to us. Many of us this Christmas are probably scrolling through the apps or going around the shops trying to find the best gifts for the ones that we love the most. I know I am, and it's not looking good. But that first Christmas, in God's love for us, he didn't have to search very hard to find the best gift he could give to us. He didn't have to spend time consulting the angels as to what it might be. He knew that the greatest gift he could ever give to us was himself, because nothing else is greater. And that is who Jesus is. God's gift of himself to us. God in the flesh, God amongst us, God with us. This is the gift that the wise men recognized and gave their gifts in response to. And this is the gift we're to recognize and receive today as well and give in response to. You might get some fabulous gifts this Christmas, things you've always wanted. Well, perhaps you didn't realize you wanted, but when you get them, they're just what you needed. Expensive gifts, thoughtful gifts, lovingly handmade gifts. But the greatest gift you could ever receive this Christmas is the gift of God himself, and that is the gift of Jesus. And the third image of Christmas is a bit of an unexpected one, the wooden manger. It's at the heart of every school nativity in the country this Christmas. In fact, I'm going to see my oldest daughters this Tuesday. A precious baby in a manger with the wise men and the shepherds and the lobsters gathered round in awe. In fact, here's one I prepared earlier. Where's it gone? Someone stole my manger. It had been moved. Okay. Here we go. It's likely by the time the wise men themselves were led to Jesus by the star, he'd been moved out of a manger into perhaps a more comfortable sleeping place. But to begin with, because there was no other place for him and his family, he was born into the room of a family house where animals were kept and placed in an old wooden manger, a feeding trough for all those animals. Lowly and smelly, not the place you'd expect anyone of importance to be born to. Can't imagine Prince William or when his children were born being placed in something so lowly at their birth. Gold or silk or linen cushioning would have been more like it. But there he is in a manger with his skin pressed against the wood from a tree that he once brought into being. And the surprise of the manger shows us just how low he would go to be with us. That he comes as the lowliest one, not even born to a baby's cot, to show that he actually came for all of us, from the very lowest rung of society to its highest. And therefore, no one's excluded from the gift that he is. He's for everybody and all. And this wood of the manger actually also points us to another piece of wood, which would also one day press against his skin. When years later, as a 33-year-old man, he would die a lowly death on a wooden cross, a form of execution reserved for the worst and lowest in society. One theologian, a name we give for those who study God, once said that Jesus' birth and Jesus' death were marked by the very same wood. Not literally the same wood, but the same type of wood that speaks of his lowliness and his love for us. Love that means he came for the least of us. Love that means that he died for us, taking our wrongdoing and sin upon himself, so that nothing can separate us from him again. And maybe this Christmas, as we celebrate Jesus' coming, there's an invitation for you to know this lowly but beautiful love. He came in love for you, he died in love for you. And alive today, raised from the dead, he invites you to know that love personally. Jesus is God's gift of himself to us, and the greatest gift that we could ever give to him in response is ourselves to him, that we might know his beautiful love and live in it forever. I want to thank you for listening to me, and may I wish you a very happy and joyful Christmas. Thank you.